is Linda and Charles with Musselwhite Consulting. We have a digital marketing agency that subscribes to the 7 pillars of digital marketing. Websites, content, email, social media, online ads. Am I getting them all? Video, reviews, and testimonials.
Woo!
I got it. But today we're here to talk about websites, which in our opinion is the foundation of your online presence, your digital marketing. And we have the pleasure to be talking to Dre Armada. So thank you so much. And I'm going to let Charles do a brief introduction.
So we are talking about websites today, but more importantly, we're talking about the security of websites. Yes. Because in the last 18 months, we personally have seen a tremendous increase in malicious website activity. And look, let's be clear. Neither one of us are the experts. We've seen it, but we're talking again to Dre Armada, co-founder of Sucuri. If you don't know who these folks are, Sucuri, SUCURI.net. Go look them up. Start reading some of the articles because, again, I'm telling you right now, if you don't have security on your website, regardless of what it is, you're running a big risk, and it's only a matter of time. It's kind of like the motorcycle riders. If you're a website owner, you're the person who is either has been down because of some malicious activity or is going to be going down because of some malicious website activity. So with that, let me just tell you a little bit about Dre. First of all, we met Dre at this crazy conference, WordCamp, Orange County, and
we didn't steal that, by the way.
Oh, we didn't?
No,
we didn't. We didn't. Penelope gave that to us, or somebody, Patricia. Priscilla, that's right. Love Priscilla, by the way. But anyway, so we're walking through the hallway, and there's, just like anytime else, we've talked about this before, you know, when you see someone and the way they carry themselves, the way that they talk, like there's an air, there's a confidence. This was Dre. And just let me tell you a little bit about Dre. First of all, Navy vet for 12 years. Thank you for your service, my friend. And in the Navy, this is where it becomes a little bit weird. He fell in love with security and making stuff for the web back in the 1990s. So you were an early adopter of the online marketing web geek mentality that we've now so come to love and embrace. So you were way ahead of us. He just went through a successful acquisition with GoDaddy earlier this year, and we were talking offline. He kept all of his employees, so that is an amazing tribute just to what you've done and what you've built. Dre now heads the business development for Sucuri as part of the security business unit at GoDaddy. And I'm telling you, we've, for the last 6 months, have been running tests side by side, Sucuri and 3 or 4 others that will remain nameless right now. And we've had this conversation that our experience, Sucuri is the first one to notify us and the first one to fix the issues when we've seen them. So there's our vote for Sucuri. And look, so after the Navy, and I'm looking at my sheet, everyone knows, Dre held various executive leadership positions in the tech startup world, including companies such as Applied Watch Technologies, Secure Eye Inc., Web Dev Studios. And if you know Dre, you know he loves to chat and speak about various events every year about security and business, which is why we are so thankful that he jumped online with us today. And look, Dre's not just some guy who was out there tinkering around and figuring some stuff out. Dre is actually a certified information systems security professional. Is that a CISP?
Sure.
And he also earned a bachelor's of science and management from the University of Phoenix. He holds various technical military training certifications. And look, and this is what really is intriguing about Dre. On his off time, because he just has so much of it, right? I mean, you don't do anything anymore. You just lay around and collect those checks. But you'll find Dre, and this is what I appreciate. Dre first has got his priorities together, because the first place you'll find him is hanging out with his 5 daughters or on the mat practicing some Brazilian jiu-jitsu. And I'm intrigued by that. Probably never going to roll because I've seen those guys, and I'll just stick to working out.
And he's a purple belt.
Oh, yeah, and a purple belt, an accomplished purple belt. And this is, again, with the Carlson Gracie team in Menifee. So this isn't just some fly-by-night unknown BJJ team. He's working with some of the greats that are out there. Or if he's not doing any of that stuff, you'll find this guy in his crazy Jeep. We need a picture of the Jeep. Crawling rocks all over Southern California or up in Big Bear, wherever he's at. And then sometimes, this is what I really get, and I won't hold this against you, he's just eating tacos, hanging out, watching the Angels or the Chargers. And that's, my friend, you'll have to suffer the rebuke on that from all the folks who have all the other teams. But other than that, Dre, welcome to our show today, man.
Thanks for having me. I got to say, like, in my defense, the Chargers and the Angels, since I was a kid, I've learned to live with disappointment. So things are what they are. We're in a good place. We've accepted it and we move on, right?
That's right.
You know, I think it's one of those things that makes you stronger, right? In any situation. I won't even tell you who our teams are because they don't even rank. So we'll just leave it right there.
Well, I appreciate you having me. Thanks for setting this up. I'm excited to chat with you guys.
Oh, absolutely. And so look, as we've been talking about again, in the last 18 months, we have seen a significant increase of website attacks. One of our bigger customers actually spent one day 10 hours of just brute force attacks, hundreds of attempts per hour. It was mind-boggling, and that was really what sparked our interest into. If that's going on, I'm sure that's just like the tip of the iceberg, what was really going on deep. And because of that, we started looking at ways to protect our own online properties as well as a lot of our customers. And we found Sucuri, over a year or so ago. Didn't know who Dre was, but the bottom line is we compared and we evaluated, compared to services, took a leap of faith, unfortunately, at that time. And I call it a leap of faith because you just never know what you're getting. But man, the customer service, just keeping sites safe has been top notch. And so that's why we had this call today. So I just got a question, Dre. What are you seeing out there right now? What's going on in your world in terms of website security?
That's a good question, but the answer is very broad because I think it's really based on the mechanics that you implement on a site as a site owner, the security controls that you implement. Look, we know as a fact that over 90% of all of the attacks out there that we see, whether that's brute force attacks, DDoS attacks, drive-by downloads, all the fun stuff that gets injected into websites is automated, one. And two, it's opportunistic. It's not really a targeted attack. You know, people go, hey, they're looking at my cupcake company. It's a competitor trying to take my stuff. No, that's not typically the case. Certainly, it happens, and you see that in a lot of these larger cases that you see in the media. But for the most part, the majority is opportunistic attacks that are automated. So we're talking about scanners out there looking for known vulnerabilities, poor passwords, terrible access control management, and they use automated scripts to come in there and inject this bad stuff or commandeer the site and have some type of command and control. So later on, when it's time for them to attack something that's of higher value to them, they have all these websites out there that are under their control. They can now use those to implement their attack tactics at a larger scale. And that's where you see a lot of these large DDoS attacks. And DDoS being denial of service or distributed denial of service. And the idea there is to inundate a site in such capacity that the site is no longer available, and that's one of the legs of security. We want to make sure that confidentiality is taken care of, right? The integrity of the site and the data, all of the stuff within that environment, but also the availability. And if any of those pieces of that triad go away, we've got a problem, right? We've got a security incident that we need to take a look at. So with a higher influx of phishing attacks, which again, these injection points are very similar. So if you're using password as password, which yes, active today in 2017 is one of the highest used passwords. We've seen with the recent attacks with our favorite credit service that some of their executives were literally using password as password, and that they were infiltrated, and all of us are at risk now, right? So you see phishing attacks. That's one that we see a high influx of. So what that means is all of a sudden you're getting an email from your favorite bank. You think it's legitimate, but it's probably not. You click the link, it takes you to a site that looks legitimate. You know, they kind of obfuscate the way that the URL domain structure looks, so you might think it's real. You start to put all of your information in there. Next thing you know, you've got all your credit card info, your social security number that's been sent to a server off in Russia, or name your culprit, and you've been owned. So that's a big attack type that we see. Certainly the availability attacks that we see with DDoS. Brute force attacks, people coming in and trying to enumerate and figure out your passwords so they can come in and take some type of administrative control of your panels or whatever software you're using online. And again, it just really depends on how you're taking care of your security on your site. What controls are you implementing? How are you reducing risk? They don't care, right? So they all have some type of financial reason to be attacking you, but again, they're mostly automated. They don't really care that you're selling cupcakes. Cupcakes are awesome. We all love them, but it doesn't really matter, right? So it just really varies. It's challenging to give you a kind of pinpoint. We see attacks, and if you head over to blog.sucuri.net, we post all of the stuff that we're seeing, right? So as a big attack happens, we're notifying folks, certainly through responsible disclosures to these folks when we figure out some type of solution for them. We want to make sure that we're doing things like reporting bugs and so on to the major software folks out there. We've done it with WordPress over the years. Over the last year, there was a big attack on the REST API for WordPress. We worked with the WordPress security team to figure out what that was, build a proof of concept, and then from there help them patch that to the millions of people, being that it's now commandeers 25% of the internet. We want to make sure that that's done in a responsible way and not adding to the issues or the risks. So again, it just varies. There's a lot of things leading to these attacks. I can't really pinpoint, I'd say right now, in the total threatscape, one thing attributing to an increase or a decrease, because it's so variable, right? And it might be something that you're seeing a big attack or an increase in attacks in, let's say, the environments that you're involved with and the customer base that you're involved with, because that might be through automation, some level of higher targeting versus others, depending on how those algorithms are set. But I don't know, as a threatscape across the globe at any given time, I mean, it's pretty steady. There hasn't been a huge outbreak, I'd say, in the last year, but it's just this kind of roller coaster of attacks that are just constant.
And good point.
That's my caffeinated version.